हेलो प्रणाम नमस्कार पंचतत्व गर्ल एक सोच एक आवाज एक बार फिर से आपके साथ और आप सुन रहे हैं माय ग्रीन तत्वा टॉक्स. So recently in October, Rajasthan's capital Jaipur saw the successful culmination of the fourth edition of the Re-commerce Sustainable Clothing and Textile Recycling Conference. This event was organized at the Radisson Blu Hotel, with the guest of honor being Roop Rashi, Textile Commissioner, Government of India, and commenced with the lighting of lamp by Venkat Reddy Patil, CEO and founder, Recommerce, who addressed the gathering. While talking about the adverse impact of textile waste on sustainability and the environment, Dr. Vivek S. Agarwal, Chairman, ICWM, added how globally 92 million tons of textile waste is created annually and how textile waste has become a major factor behind environmental degradation. So, with these insightful discussions dealing with sustainable textile waste management throughout the event, it became certain that such conferences need to take place at regular intervals, as they are not only good to spread awareness but also for like-minded people and speakers to come together and make a change leading to a better world and a cleaner environment. I hope guys you all are aware that textile recycling, which is the process of recovering fiber, yarn or fabric and reprocessing the textile material into useful products, all this which is gathering from different sources, sorting, processing, depending on their condition, composition, resale. Everything consumes water, energy, chemicals. So, if we think of reusing the existing fibers and textiles, it reduces the need for newly manufactured fibers and thus helps to save the water, energy, dyes, which results into less pollution. So whenever we talk of reusing the fabric or one garment that satisfies this need is denims, because it's rough, durable and long lasting. Denims as an essential piece continue to be timeless. As one of the textiles that has influenced popular culture and fashion, denim has been present everywhere, from formal occasions and informal gatherings to travel adventures and staying close to home, as well as in times of war and peace. So, the influence of denim has been so vast that it has defined the contributions of various generations to musical genres, visual arts, political movements, and cultural movements. Its evolution is intriguing and its function is constantly shifting. The fashionistas have proved that denim is a classic wardrobe need. Anywhere you go, you will always see someone wearing it. Denim has become a staple in people's wardrobes since it serves as the base for all the go-to looks. And when denim gets a stylish upgrade, the entire ensemble changes. Now, why am I talking about a stylish upgrade? Okay, tell me. As every clothing has age, so does denims and our jeans. So what to do after we are bored of our jeans? Throw away? Maybe donate? Reuse? Ever tried to give it a second life? Well. To see a denim makeover, giving it a second life, today on Green Tatva Talks, we have Soumya from Dwij. Dwij, which was founded to address the ills of fast fashion by providing inclusive growth of society through upcycling our very own denims. So guys, to know more about recycling denims and other fabrics, invisible recyclers and sustainable fashion, let's know more directly from Soumya. So for that, let's welcome Soumya to Green Tatva Talks with the Tatwa Girl. Hey Soumya, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine. And so glad to have you on Green Tatva Talks. And well, guys, before we move ahead, let me tell you a bit about Soumya. Soumya is a mechanical engineer with masters in commercial vehicle technology, whose work life cycle assessment triggered her interest in sustainability. Soumya adopted a sustainable and zero waste lifestyle after realizing the eye opening reality of the waste generated by an average human being. She has shared her minimalist journey on her site, which is worth a read, so do read. And I really love the example of Buddha and his disciple you had shared on it. Guys, she feels that Buddhist monks may be considered the ultimate masters of minimalism. Most of the Indian families are also very familiar with these practices, which used to exist just a few decades ago. Well, this you can read on her site. Coming to Dwij, Soumya is the creative mind behind Dwij. Dwij means second life in Sanskrit. We'll be coming to know more about this from Soumya. Well, the average lifetime of a garment is estimated to be for a period of 3 years. After the time period, they are thrown away as old clothes. Even useful garments are discarded as they are no longer fashionable or desirable. But given thoughtful minds like Soumya who create Dwij and help us recycle our old garments, they are not just doing a noble cause, but helping our planet to breathe a bit more. So, Soumya, my first and a very curious question to you is, who was the mind behind this name Twitch? It's really interesting. And like, how did you research or find this beautiful name, which means second life in Sanskrit? Was it any moment or is there any story behind this name? Please share.
Um, when we were doing the research for like what we should be starting up, it started becoming clear that we wanted to do something by upcycling, and then slowly after we started discussing with people and trying to get the feedback, we realized that denim is something that is like very strong material. It's thrown away because of size issues or like maybe change in styles, but not really because it has worn out or something. So when we were clear that we are going to make products out of denim, I was looking for something very clearly that mentions that we are giving second life. The synonyms of second life is what I was searching for. It took me like maybe a lot of time. To come up with this word, because constant googling, like talking to people what would suit best, and like then one day we were just relaxing by the pool, and then I was just searching it, and something which came in my scroll, and instantly it hit me, like, and when I saw its meaning, it just felt right, like giving second life. And at that point in time, although we were working with denim, I never wanted our brand to be associated with only denim. So it had to be a generic term, and I didn't want to go with any like very common terminologies with having eco in it, or like something that shows that it is obvious. But we always wanted our brand to be seen as something very hygienically done and not necessarily falling into an environmental bucket, although that's a very important point to start the conversation. But eventually the industry should grow in such a way that nobody should really bother about like so much discuss so much about like it's a use thing, it's not a use thing. It should just become like a part of a normal lifestyle. Right. So Dwij was just an interesting name that after a lot of research, it was, I mean, what I want to convey is like I really wanted it to be something that we are giving punarjanma to, or like right. Yeah, so but it had to like also sound interesting.
Absolutely right. And which certainly is a very beautiful name. And when we say reuse or we say recycle or even repurposing, this term applies to everything. And of course, we all know that according to a study, approximately around 3,000 liters of water, along with huge volumes of chemicals and energy, is consumed in the production of any clothing, call it a single pair of jeans or jacket or a suit or any dress. So if we see this kind of usage or wastage in a cloth line, I think giving it a reuse or repurpose or recycling is always a good choice. And I think denims are like everyone's favorite. They are like all my all-time favorites too. So whenever I'm confused, choose indigo. This is my rule. And when I saw your Insta profile of lovely denim recycled products, I instantly became your fan. So okay, like you said that you didn't want to stick to one clothing, but you started with denim. So why you chose denims? Like, what was the reason behind choosing this? Because I have seen people having those katrans and clothes and everything, but denim was like your choice. So any specific reason for that?
Yes. So when we were doing the initial research, we realized that people often give away their old clothes, right? So when
Right.
they give away to like maybe a maid or like a watchman or like someone whom they closely know that they are happy to take those clothes, often what happens is like these go to like the second hand markets or like chindi markets. Not everyone is
Mm-hmm.
happy to use old stuff per se. They might happily accept from you, but most of the times it may not be like they may not be happy with buying wearing your own clothes like it used to
Mm-hmm.
be the case before, but in urban setting that has reduced a lot.
Right.
So when we go to the chindi markets, what we often see is like, or when people donate their clothing to like a NGO or somewhere who take it to tribal areas or areas where there was some calamity or something like any incident. We see that especially the saris or kurtis, they get used like because
Mm-hmm.
it's the lifestyle of a person whom you're donating it to.
Mm.
But jeans is something that you're forcing on them. Like it's like in urban setting we are used to jeans, but if you go to like tier 3 or villages, it's not very
Mm-hmm.
common that people wear denim. And denim has to be like a specific fit, it has to like match your waist and so many other things. So you can like sari and kurtis you still can alter or do small changes at a very small local tailor shop and do something out of it.
Right.
So I realized that one part was this, that the jeans that is getting is given through donations is actually going to places where they are using it as racks to clean chemical stuff, or also the other interesting application is to make insulations.
Mm-hmm.
So these are like niche markets, but they are not they are just downcycling the material, which is like degrading the materials properties, but they are not adding real value to the entire chain. So
Mm-hmm.
the difference between upcycling and downcycling lies here. Like downcycling, although you are using it, you are still reducing its value and the properties, but in upcycling you are adding creativity to increase its value and also are giving a longer life which people are happy to use around. So
Mm-hmm.
jeans became the most important part, and when we started realizing that what can be done of jeans at that point in time, like maybe in 2017-18, when this research was happening, not many people were very comfortable with using pre-loved clothing. So it
Mm-hmm.
didn't make sense for us to make some garments or like resell them or something. So
Mm-hmm.
then we decided that bags are something that have a lot of potential because jeans are very strong, and people who are more into quality and durability, they would simply like it if we give good product. And the other thing is, like if you talk about the this animal leather cruelty leather, which are like the typical handbag material, nowadays we also have like a vegan fake leather which are sold everywhere. So although the vegan fake leather is a replacement to your animal cruelty, it is not necessarily a sustainable eco-friendly material. It's at the end made out of chemicals. It is not going to degrade in any kind of condition. You have to
Mm-hmm.
like have huge facilities to recycle them. So there was a real potential that you make some bags out of, like people who are really into sustainability, they would appreciate that there is some there are bags which are not harming anyone. Instead they are using the already available resources to make something beautiful. So
Mm-hmm.
these were the three things that we were focusing on: a, the material which is going to the waste;
Mm-hmm.
b, the use of the material which will enhance its value further; and c, that it is like a replacement of something that is not necessarily environment friendly. And during those days, I think very few people had plant based material bags as well. So it's good that the trend has increased, but someone for a pocket friendly budget where you want to stuff in a lot of things and you versatile.
Right, absolutely right. And in all the conversation you just said, the first thing, as you said, that you were saying that the three steps you were looking forward to. So, guys, I would like to tell you that certainly textiles make about 3% by weight when it comes to household garbage, because textile waste arise during the process of yarn, fabric manufacture, garment making. Like there is also post-industrial waste. So there is a cycle which is going on, and all this thrown clothing certainly has a potential, as Soumya said, for recycling and reuse. And when coming on to denim, as you said, yes, trend has changed. So I still have like a beautiful bag, two pillow covers, and three pouches denim, which I have been using for since last 8 years. And that's certainly a very wonderful use to our favorite denims which you have given. And when we talk of this, like you said, that putting it for reuse, because it can't land up anywhere, because it is not like any suit or a dress. So that reminds me of a very famous quote which says that fashion can be a universal player in protecting the planet. Now, if we talk of fashion, how it can protect the planet? Well, there are things, because the fashion industry is ranked among the major environmental pollutants on the planet lately. And unfortunately, this is a sad truth that is often overlooked, that our today's fashion tends to contribute to environmental pollution. And lately, what is happening is an upcoming term is that sustainable fashion. Now, these two terms are coming together. And the word sustainability in the context of fashion most prominently refers to the environmental impacts of making, be it like raw material creation, processing, manufacturing, wearing, caring for use, or even like the end use disposal of the clothing. So, Soumya, when you said that you took denims because there was no other use, when you saw in the market that it was not like other suits and dresses that you can put a second use to it, what is your view that is you take on a sustainable fashion and when we take denims in the context? So, what's your take on that?
I think the word sustainable itself is very clear, where we say that something that it can sustain itself. Like, the entire process has to be something that is like going in sync with each other. And in that each other comes the environment, comes the material, also comes the person who is going to use the material. Since like for the past few decades, it has become like a total disconnect. There's a total disconnect between the person who is wearing the material and the person who is making the stuff. So initially, if we used to see, there was a trend where you used to go and make your clothes from your own tailor, where you knew him very personally. He would make it as per your size fit and everything. And then came this era of like ready-made clothing. In that also we used to have just a piece of clothing and then you would make a salwar suit out of it or something. And then came a very very ready-made kind of thing, where you are after now the material that is going into have, I have one with a crepe style, then one with a organza style, and then you have become so used to different types of materials. We started slowly losing this earlier view that you should have first of all known the material in the first place. Like polyester are used with so many chemicals that it is also harmful for your own body. Like microplastics we talk about, it gets into the food chain, but how does it even get into your food chain? So clothing is the closest thing that you're wearing 24 hours, sleeping and everything. So it's something that you have to be like very very careful about. So in that sustainable fashion, one comes like fine, as a person, if you're going out for shopping, like what according to you is sustainable fashion might vary drastically. Like for someone, material is the most important point. For someone, it could be like I'm okay with the material, but I really need to get this things from ethical sourcing, or like everything. Like I don't mind wearing a wool coat, provided I know that who it was not reared like out like unethically or something. So it can like be various things for various people. So as a person, you have to define your own take on sustainable fashion, where you say that okay, these are the things that I can't compromise with, and these are the things I can work around, because not everything is going to come your way in a pocket friendly manner. So for me, sustainable fashion has always been like damaging creating less damage to the environment, and seeing options where I myself don't like and I mean I cannot avoid the microplastics or the polyester around me. That's a sad reality of today. But
Right.
when I'm going with this intention that I would like to find options for that, you start slowly figuring out the solutions. So sustainable fashion, like to wrap up, it's like a very huge umbrella of things that need to fit in. It can be different for different people. For me, it has to be like the least environmental footprint along with your own health. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. Very well said, Soumya. Yes, that sustainable fashion has to have a, like you can say, what's your aim? It varies from person to person. It can be like a raw material for a person, or it can be the end product. And as you said, yes, sustainable fashion is important of to creating a better future and a better fashion industry. So, crux of the story is clothing has a useful second life. It's how you look at it. You can, like, good quality can be given in charity, unwearable or damaged clothing can be processed as rags, remaining can be sent for fiber reclamation and stuffing. Threads from the fabric is pulled out and used for reweaving new garments. Shredded garments can be used as fillers in car insulation, roofing fells, loudspeaker, etc. So, there are many uses. It just depends on the condition of the fabric and how you look at it. So, certainly well said. One quote, once again, which reminds me is waste isn't waste until we waste it. So it's our eye, our creative eye, which we have to give to that fabric, which we are maybe throwing out, but we can just rethink of what we can do it. Okay. So, coming back to one word which you just mentioned while we were speaking in the last question was the chindiwalas. We all know that we are living in a world full of garbage, and this garbage is not considered garbage since it can be recycled or used in other way. And when I talk of reusing and recycling of clothes, this reminds me of those people who used to come to our house with new steel utensils in return of old clothes when I was small. So I've seen this in my mom like bargaining or buying things. In Marathi, my mom used to call it Komtin, and if I'm not wrong, in Hindi, they are called Buharans. So if you search the name in English, I think they are called invisible recyclers around us. And they are like 1% of the population in urban areas who are involved in collection of waste, such as paper, plastic, and mainly textiles or clothing on a day-to-day basis, and they are truly invisible since they play a silent, acknowledged role in keeping our streets cleaner. So, Soumya, on your side, I had even read a wonderful article you had shared on such invisible recyclers of India. So, I would like to know more about your views on them.
Yes. So as you mentioned, as a kid, we might have definitely come across this Wagri community people or Chindivi walas who used to come at home. Interestingly, those times it used to be exchanged with steel, but unfortunately these days those get exchanged with plastic. So
Right.
our material has come to a level that there's very much no value in that. Like you could just see there that the cloth that we used to wear 10 years back used to be really strong, and it made sense for them to maybe exchange it with a good metal. But now the quality of the clothes have degraded so much that I think they are just surviving. So as you mentioned, like we often like there's a lot of people who in urban settings are behind this waste collection. So we have like highlighted on our blog, which products has a blog in which we were talking about the invisible recyclers. So there we pointed out with respect to clothing, but you will see this invisible recyclers pretty much in every sector. So be that plastic bottles or like metal or like newspaper. So in India, interestingly, we have a very good ecosystem where nothing really goes to waste. So the only downside of this is like this is all informal, like it's not in a formal setup, which is the crux of the blog, saying that since it is informal, we tend not to respect them so much. Like, if a municipal person is coming and collecting, maybe we would treat them in a different way. But if a invisible recycler is coming to your like gated community, most of the times they are driven away, because they are not, like, so much into your kind of setting. So because of which, this the material that we as a gated community are supposed to give away to this kind of markets to thrive is suddenly cut off. So the only material they can get is from the other humble backgrounds, and not so much from the backgrounds where the most of the waste is created in the first place. So that's the sad story of them not being able to survive the way they should have been, if things were, like, a bit more formalized here. And the other part is there was this there was a incident that happened with me, like, this is way before I started Dwij, or, like, had even thoughts about it. So when I was studying in Germany, when I had to clear up my stuff, I remember seeing a very big bin which said that, you can put off your clothes here, and then that they will be taken care of, like, maybe they would give it to the needy, or maybe they would recycle it, or whatever. So as a very conscious person, or a very responsible person, I did go and, like, put off a lot of clothing. So I used to think that maybe if certain system existed like this in India, maybe it would have been, like, nicer. uh, and then once I started reading more about fashion, and then I started understanding more about the developed countries, so-called developed countries, I realized that all the material that I had dumped in that bin, which was, like, very formalized, went to communities in Africa, where they had to, like, do something of this clothing. And now the problem in Africa of second-hand clothing is so huge that the people are not able to afford first-hand clothing. It is, like, completely created havoc all over. So now, coming back, like, do we appreciate this invisible recyclers, although informal, who are, like, putting the material in use in our own ecosystem again and again, versus a very formal developed country which is just dumping their waste on some other country? So I think like this invisible from the entire discussion, what I mean to say is that this invisible recyclers are doing some amazing amount of work that we cannot we cannot thank them enough for what they are doing. So which is why the least you could do is never treat them badly, or respect them, or wherever you find such kind of markets in and around. In Mumbai, you will find very easily. If not anything, just take your if you're from gated community, even then you just take your clothes and give it to them. Maybe you don't have to take any money, but maybe you will end up giving little better clothing to them for recycling in their own communities or the other communities, instead of, like, not knowing what is happening to the clothing altogether.
Right, absolutely right. And it's really sad to know that despite providing affordable clothing to the poor, the Wagri community faces absolute dejection, constant struggle to hold a fixed market in Indian cities, and meagre economic returns. Their invisible contribution towards saving the environment is still unaccounted and unacknowledged. We thus choose to call them invisible heroes of the environment, a community that certainly deserves respect and acknowledgement, and they need to get visible hype. Because as consumers, we have so much power to change the world by just being careful in what we buy as well as what we do. So, Soumya, when I talk of this change and being careful of what we buy, you and your initiative of which is really incredible. So just tell me in brief, like, how do you procure your denims? Like, people come and give it to you, or you procure it from some factory outlets or something? Like, what's your, like, work culture when it comes to your team and procuring the fabric and making and selling it? So how do you work on those lines?
So 99.99% of our like denim waste is what we buy from different chilli markets or second-hand markets, or we have tie-ups with manufacturing units where their leftovers, like cut-offs, are also given. So like when we started off this initiative, a lot of people started writing to us that if there was a way to give their denim, a second life. So that is when we decided that we will start also accepting donated jeans, which forms very very small percentage of what we actually need. But it's just a way to create a system where people think that okay, my material is being put to some good use. And in that case scenario where somebody is donating it to us, they simply courier their jeans to us. And what we make sure is like those jeans which we would have normally bought versus what we got donated, we keep the differential money apart to do some kind of small CSR activities for our own employees, or for any small thing. So it's a very very small minuscule percentage. And the other thing is like once we buy all this, these all go to industrial washing facility where everything is thoroughly washed. And after they are washed, they are ironed and they come to our workshop. And depending upon the size, texture, shade, and the feel of the fabric, all these are like important parameters to decide which kind of bag that we would like to make. So basically it's mostly bags that we started off with bags, and then we started realizing that there's a lot of small cutoffs that are coming after the bags are made. So we started experimenting with handmade jewelry, and we started selling the jewelry offline, just to test the market of how they are comfortable. After receiving like really good response, we launched jewelry. And recently after jewelry and these also, like we have like significant amount of small chindis that are left, because there's a limit to like one particular type of material, that one type of product that we could make. So then we started expanding in home decor part. And now recently we have also launched handmade toys, and also like some small stuff, like very keychains or anything that can put all our material to proper use is what we aim for. We are almost a zero waste company. So I would say we are still a low waste brand where every small chindi is being accounted for, and after everything is left, when there's nothing that we could like really make out of it, that's when we send it to the insulators, where they use it for padding or buffing or something. So nothing is going from our workshop to landfills. That's what we make sure. Right. The response that we have been receiving is really very like a kind of people that because they think, I mean, many a times people are really surprised if it is like a used material, because for us the utmost importance is hygiene part of the fabric and the durability of the fabric. Along with we add a lot of quality accessories to the products, like the premium quality YKK zippers, or cotton belts, or anything that goes other than jeans. Everything is thoughtfully done so that it adds durability to the material, because after the whole effort of rescuing them and getting them washed and everything, if we don't give a good quality professionally done product, it doesn't make sense for us to be here. So that has as a brand, our aim has always been to give a very durable product, which is I consider my brand to be for the quality that we are giving is quite affordable, because you're getting a product that is going to last for you very very long. And I think people miss out that point, that they compare it with virgin materials, where it won't last you as long as a durable good quality product.
Right. And when it comes to denims, I think the durability word sticks to it. And as you said, your products are all affordable. So that adds on to the value of the product. So guys, if you're looking for products made from used jeans and denim waste, like she said, they have not only bags, but keychains, I think belts, and jewelry also made out of denim. So you just have to head on to their site, which is www.dwijproducts.com. And you can check their Insta handle, which is again Dwij Products, which on which they have showcased all the products which they have been making from these used denims, and giving a better and more attractive use to our good old denims, which we can carry on for ages and years in the coming days. So Soumya, thank you very much. It was really nice knowing your story and knowing the mind behind the Dwij, and it was wonderful talking to you. And I must say that at the crux of the story, firstly denims, and secondly, yes, I would request everyone to please give that weightage to whom we call chindiwalas, or the better word will be the invisible recyclers who are really helping our environment. And let the denim breathe and let it get the second life which a product or which a fabric deserves. So thank you once again, Soumya. Thank you for sparing your time and sharing your journey with us.
Thank you so much for having me on this. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Glad. So, guys, keeping in mind that we are responsible for the wellness of the future generation, we have to take a step towards the situation, given that we are running out of both time as well as resources. It's our responsibility to try as much as we can to change the general mindset. Pre-loved products or reused products or giving that second life by recycling or repurposing is not at all bad. Please change your mindset and accept these products where the people like Soumya are putting in their love, warmth and efforts in the products to create them in a better way, presenting them in a better way. So guys, that's all for today. Tatva Girl will be back with more kisse kahani and similar motivating, inspiring and recycling as well as upcycling stories. Till then, don't forget to reuse, recycle and upcycle and give your fabric a second life and cherish it a bit more. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Namaskar.